Okay, so there's going to be two different kinds of equations. There's going to be they're either going to be both x equals, or they're going to be like they were on our quiz today, where they're x plus y equals whatever, okay? Now, based upon what the problem looks like, will be the type of equations you're going to write down. This is going to be one that's going to be like x plus y equals whatever. The reason why I know that is because there's two types of boxes, large and small. So there's two different things, large and small. They may say like apples and oranges, or they may say like what's here? Look at the next one. This one says movies and video games. So if there's two different types of things like that, then it's going to be one that's written x plus y equals whatever. So this is the way we're going to write it. So first thing is identify what your x is and what your y is. So my x is always the first thing that's listed. So we have three large boxes. So I know that x, here, I want you guys to write that problem down inside your journal right there. That problem. Take 1 minute and write it down.
Wait, what is this and?
Hey, don't worry. And means add. This is going to be an adding problem, yeah. Yep, write it down. I want a couple of these. Just write down this one, and then I'm going to have you write down number 3 also.
Yito, corrito, kumbuki pakutuhu. Ah!
Okay. So while you guys finish writing up that, so like I said, I know that this problem is going to be like an x plus y scenario, right? Because there's two different things, large and small. If there's ever two different things like that, where they're trying to relate them together, it's going to be that type of problem, or an elimination problem, the ones we just barely did. Okay, so now we're going to write them out. I know that x is going to be large, y is going to be small. The reason being is because I made them that way. You could have them the other way. The first thing that's always written, so where it starts off with delivery of 3 large boxes, that's always my x. Okay, so the way we're going to write this is 3x, 3 large boxes, and 5 small boxes has a total weight of 112. The next equation says a delivery of 6 large boxes and 2 small boxes has a total weight of 118. Alright, now we have to figure out how much each box weighs. So we're going to have to solve these equations for x and y. Any questions on how I got those two equations? Okay, which variable do you guys want to cancel? I wouldn't. I'd cancel x. Why do you think I'd want to cancel x? Yeah, 3 goes into 6. Does everyone see that? So because of that, I know that I would only have to times the top equation by something. I wouldn't have to times the bottom equation also by something. So what's the opposite of 6?
Negative 6.
Okay, so we have to times the top equation by negative 2, right? Which is going to give us negative 6x minus 10y equals negative 224. Now that top equation I'm just going to say is gone, even though we can plug it. I'll just plug it into the second one. Alright, so we're going to add these two things together. Our x's are gone, right? We're left with negative 8y equals negative, is that 106?
Wait, what?
So our x's are gone, right? 2 minus 10 is negative 8. So now we're there. Okay, I'm going to need help on calculator here because those don't go in evenly, I don't believe. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 8 and we get y equals what?
13.25.
Okay, so y equals what? Y is small, right? Does everyone see that? So I know that the small boxes weigh 13.25 kilograms. See that? 13.25. Okay, now to be able to get how much the large boxes weigh, I can go back to my original equation. I can go back to 6x plus 2y equals negative 118. Can we plug it into any of these, do you think?
Yeah.
Yep, and we can plug it in. So y equals that, so 6x plus 2 times 13.25 equals 118. Can you guys still see that okay? 6x plus 26.50 equals 118. And then I'm going to need some help with calculator here. So everyone go ahead and finish that thing off. Subtract 26.50 and then divide it by 6. Do it for me, Dre. You're going to need a calculator today because none of them are going to come out whole. They're always going to be decimals today. You're going to have to do it in your head. Which I don't think I could do that in my head.
Well, you can just search up a calculator.
Yeah, you can go to Google. Did you subtract that from there?
Yes.
Then you divide it by 6? What'd you get?
14.08. I got 15.29. Yeah.
There you go.
I got some butter.
Okay, so now look, the way you're going to type this thing is they're going to say weight of the large box. So we know that the large box, Tanner, the large box is 15.25 kilograms and the small box is 13.25 kilograms. Everyone see that? So today you're not going to get whole numbers. Today you're actually going to get decimals, which is okay.
So now that I know it's going to be right if it's decimal.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that because you may get one that's a whole number. I haven't seen one yet, but maybe. We're going to do a couple, so it's all right. Any questions so far? Ready to go into the next one?
No.
I won't have you write down the next one. We'll just do it together. I gotta go. You can come up and grab it after. I'm gonna put it right here. If we take too much more time, we're gonna not have any time for homework. All right. Nora, read it. So two things, right? Two things and how they relate together, usually about cost or weight or something like that. So I'm going to say that my X is movies. You don't need to write down this one. And my Y is video games.
I didn't know.
I always just say the first one they say is my X, and the second one they say is my Y. That's how. Okay, does that make sense? Alright, so we're going to have 3 movies plus 8 video games equals $53. And 5 movies plus 2 video games equals $26. Okay, there's our 2 equations. Which one do you guys want to cancel? Doesn't matter in this case, really. Not one's terribly easier than the other. Yeah, 2 goes into 8. I like that. Okay, I like it. Does everyone see what he did right here? 2 goes into 8. So, Dre, what would we times the bottom equation by? Good. Times into that by -4. Our 2 equations now are going to look like this. What's 4 times 26? Is that 104? Okay, Joey, do we have opposites? So we can add them together. We're left with -17x equals -51. Is that right? It is right. We divide by -17. We divide by x equals, look, that one came out whole. Uh-oh. See that? So what's the cost of movies? $3, right? So we know that the cost of movies is going to be 3 big Somalis. Okay, so I'm just going to plug it back into our top equation. 3 times 3 plus 8y equals 53. Or 9 plus 8y equals 53. Subtract 9. 8y equals, that doesn't go in, oh, that's all right. 44. Okay, divide 8 from 44, and you get y equals, or the cost of video games equals 5.5. $5. So video games cost more to rent than movies. Did you know that, Dre? In this problem, at least. So the cost of video games is $5.50. The cost of movies is $3. Okay, any questions on those? Okay, we got to go on to the next type of problem. So that's the first type like that. The next type is normally talks about 2 different companies. Okay, it's going to talk about like companies or something like that. But as you notice here, it doesn't talk about, it has one thing. It has like sugar. Or it'll have like bolts or something. It'll have one thing, not 2. Yeah, I want you to write down this one. Copy it. Perfect to perfect. Don't worry about this part. Actually, yeah, copy down the boxes too. Okay, so this is an example of one that they're both equations are going to be y equals. Y, in this case, in all these cases, y is going to equal the amount of money, and x is going to equal tons of sugar, or tons, okay? So y is going to be the amount of money. And the reason how I know this isn't something you can just change. If you read right here in the problem that we read, it says plus an additional fee of 125.50 for each ton of sugar. Where it says like this, for each ton of sugar, that means it's going to have X next to it when we set up this. So the part of the problem that says like for each ton of sugar, or on our next one, I'll show you what it says when we get there. So our two equations are both going to be y equals in this case. All right, this is company. This is the first company. This is the second company. All right. So the first company, let's read it. Charges $7,500 to rent trucks plus an additional fee of $125.50. So the way I'm going to set this thing up is because this is for each ton of sugar, it's going to be 125.50 X plus 7,500. 7,500 is a one-time payment plus 125.50 for each ton of sugar. So if we were to plug in how much it costs for like 6 tons of sugar, we just plug right there and be able to solve it, right? The next company charges a one-time fee of $6,296, so that's going to be out here. And 200.75x. Alright, there's our two equations. Now, the way I know that another reason how I know these are both y equals is because of the question they asked to us. For what amount of sugar do the two companies charge the same? If two things are the same, then they're equal, right? So I know in that case what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these two equations equal to each other. And we're going to remove y. Everyone see how hard these problems look? Why is this thing all crooked? Okay, who could tell me how to solve this? Anybody know?
You have to
Ricky?
add the x's together.
Yeah, we got to move this x over here, so we're going to subtract this to both sides, and I'm going to need help here. Which is going to cancel there. Someone on your calculator go 125.5, subtract 200.25.
Negative 74.75.
So we have negative 74.75 plus 7,500 equals 6,296. That's an X there. Okay, so now we can subtract 7,500. And we get negative 74.75x equals 504, is that right? No, that's bigger than that. 1,204? Is it 1,200? I mean, 1,204? Okay, and then we're to there. Now we're going to divide both sides, Tanner, by negative 74.75. And now I'm really going to need help with a calculator. So x is going to equal, what is it?
16.5 10, 7, B, 23, 41. So,
Did we do it wrong?
I think so.
You got 16 point what? So 1-1. Should have came out whole. We did something wrong here. Hold on. Let's read the problem again. So it says that it's 7,500 plus an additional 125.50. The second company charges 6,296 for 200.75. Everyone pull out your calculator so we can walk through this thing together. So 125.50x plus 75, 200.75, and 6,296.
Was it
So-
7.5? Yeah, that's where I messed up.
So go back through. This should be 7,5 right here, right?
Yeah.
So everyone go back through. We're going to start back over here.
So it would be
Subtract those two. Everyone do it. 125.50 subtract 200.75. 75.25.
100 or negative 188.25.
This, if you subtract those,
I got negative 75.25.
okay, that's it. Negative 75.25 plus 7,500 equals 6,296, which those would be the same. So negative 75.25x equals negative 112.04. Okay, go 1204 divided by negative 75.25.
That's what we got last time, I thought.
No, we had 74.275.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone go through and do this real quick for me. X equals what?
I got negative 16 too.
Well, if they're both negative, it can't be negative.
I didn't type in the negative on 16.
So 16. So X represents the tons of sugar, so we know it's going to be 16, right? Okay, the next one. So now we got to pick which one to plug it back in. Does it look like there's an easier one? Not really?
Y looks easier.
Yeah, they're both Y, but anyways,
Bottom line.
yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the top one just because that's what I'm accustomed to doing. Okay, everyone go through on your calculator real quick. Go 125.50 times 16 and add 7,500. And you get what? $9,508 even? Check it, everyone check. It's got to be a lot bigger than that. That's a 16, so 125.50 times 16 plus 7,500. What'd you get?
I got 408 and then I have it negative. I got 9,500.
Yeah, 9,500.
Okay, make sure everyone can get to there. That's the answer. That's four people that got it.
Sorry I messed this up.
That's all right. Okay.
But it shows the little things.
You didn't times those two right. 125.50 times 16 should be big. Bigger than 400.
I got 2,000.
Yeah, it should be 2,000. Okay. All right, last one, and I actually have room on this piece of paper here. Over here, and then we'll get to our homework. Okay, it says a phone company. Anytime you see company, we know we're going to be playing with Y equals. All right? We see company, it's Y equals. Offers 2 monthly plans. Plan A costs $10 plus an additional 0.15 for each minute. Anytime you see 4 each, that's our X. That's what's going next to our X. So this is going to be 0.15X plus 10. The bottom one costs $22 plus the additional 11 cents for each minute. So the bottom plan is going to be that. Remember, where it says for each goes next to the X. It's going to say, remember on the last problem it said for each ton of sugar. This one says for each minute talked. Okay, so they're both Y equals. Y is our dollar amount, X is our minutes. So now we're going to set them equal to each other. 0.15x plus 10 equals 0.11x plus 22. And then we can go through and we can start to solve them. That's 0.04x plus 10 equals 22. Subtract 10 to both sides. 0.04x equals 12. Divide both sides by 0.04, not x. So what's 12 divided by 0.04? 300?
300 even.
Sheesh. So x equals 300. X represented what? What did x represent? The minutes or the dollars? The minutes. Remember, y represents the dollars. So now we can go back through and we can plug it back in. I'll just plug it back into the top one. Y equals 0.15 times 300 plus 10. And everyone help me out with that. 0.15 times 300.
45.
45 big Somalis is where they cost the same. So, today you're going to be doing this. You're going to have to read these problems, decipher what the equations are going to look like. Kellen, put on a mask. Somebody else. Tanner, you have one on? Good. Okay, any other questions on this? So your homework's going to be 3 problems. Okay, that's it. Go for it.
So,
If anybody wants to come up here and grab these, any of the work I did today, that'd be fine. If you need more time to copy stuff down,
I actually tried to study this weekend to do my
good.
test, and I could not figure out how to do it.
Okay, give me 2 seconds and then I'll come back over. Okay?